Okay, good morning or afternoon or evening. I knew it. I knew she wasn't going to want to be in here for the class. I was trying to convince her before that she didn't want to be here when I was doing kettlebell flow. She didn't listen until just now. Well, so today we have kettlebell flow for our Friday kettlebell flow. And if you haven't done a kettlebell flow before, today's the perfect day for you to join and start getting into the world of flow, which basically I would describe as kind of combining weightlifting almost with dancing. There's a lot more free movement, and once you really get the basics of some of the flow movements, you can freestyle, and it's a lot of fun if you're just kind of feeling like not doing a very structured workout that day, but you do want to work out and sweat and feel good. You can do that to some music, and it's a good old time. So hopefully you'll have a good time here with me today. So we're gonna start down on the ground, prone, laying face down on our belly. Let's start with a nice big stretch, just to get that all out like you just woke up in the morning. All your fingers and toes, your whole body, and then you can lay it down and relax and bring those hands back towards your shoulders. We're gonna start opening up with our scorpion roll, kicking that leg up. You wanna keep the hip on the floor while you lift the knee, and then we can lift up that hip. We're gonna roll it over. Ooh, I got a nice pop in my back. And then reverse nice and slow. First, we're gonna touch down that hip, and then we're gonna touch down the knee and the foot. And then the other side, kicking it up, reaching over, and back down to the ground. And just roll as far as you can. You can use your hands to push. I'm gonna keep going side to side. Just starting to open up. We've got a lot of rotation today, so making sure we're nice and limber and not stiff is really important with this kind of work. Let's do one more each side, and then we're gonna start opening this up. So this time, let's bring that foot up over, and then that hand you're gonna pull over. So you're all the way onto your back now, butt's on the ground. You're gonna push down on the floor with your hand and foot and reach up and over. Get a nice big stretch. We're talking about being a dancer today. Really try to make that movement just like a big, expression of movement. Just a big stretch up, just like a dancer. You can imagine you're doing some kind of interpretive dance. Let's keep going side to side. Nice big reach and down. And roll over, bring up that hand. Reach down. Let's do one more each side. And when we roll over, we can bring it to hands and knees this time. Let's get into our cat-cow. First, just take a big inhale. Push your hands and knees away from each other. Stretch between your ribs, tuck your butt. Exhale, pull your hands and knees together. Big squeeze of the shoulder and your tailbones up. And now we're gonna go for our articulated. So starting at the butt, we're just gonna round the pelvis. And then we're just gonna lift the low back. And then we're just gonna lift the mid back. And then just through the shoulders. And finally the neck. And now reversing that, starting at the butt. Just your butt. Then your low back. Then your mid back. Shoulders. And finally neck. Let's try 3 more of these. Starting at the butt, try to roll your way slowly up the spine like a wave to the shoulders and neck, and then reverse. And 2 more. Roll, 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 roll. Moving one little vertebrae at a time. And tuck, 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 tuck. Last one, let's roll. And last tuck. Let's dig those toes in and push up and back into our downward dog. You can walk out those heels. Push the chest towards the knees. Let's take a nice deep breath. You can send one leg up. Keep those hips level in our three-legged dog. And then bring the knee into the chest. We're going to shift forward and plant that foot between the hands. You can also use your hand to move that foot forward. Take a moment to align those hips nice and straight. And then on the same side as your forward leg, we're going to take that arm and reach up into a big GSA stretch. Nice big inhale. Bringing that hand down, you can tent your fingers up tall, push up and back through that front leg, and we're going to stretch that hamstring, start to push off your back foot, and we're going to rock. Going to feel that stretch working. See if you can lift up that back foot, kind of a little lift off. And then bring that foot back down. Knee back down, plant the hands firm, and send it up and back into your three-legged dog again. Bring it back down, downward dog. You can walk out the hamstrings again, walk out those hips. Feel any difference between left and right after doing that little stretch? Let's do the other side. Three-legged dog, keep those hips level. Bring the knee into the chest and let's shift it forward. Putting that foot down. Raise up, same side arm into a big GSA, big greatest stretch alive. Nice deep breath. And exhale. Hand to the ground, tent those fingers. And exhale, back into that hamstring stretch. Nice straight hips. Let's start to push off the back big toe and rock. See if we can lift. Little rocking action. And bringing the foot back down. Planting the hands and sending it up and back into that downward dog, three-legged dog. Back down, four-legged dog. Walk those hands back to your feet. We're going to roll it up. Starting again, pelvis, and then stacking the low back, upper back, shoulders, neck. We can work those feet together, one of those big toes to touch. Have a little space between the heels. Nice soft knees. You can soften the back. Bend over until we touch the floor. You want your knees not touching. Dropping the butt down low as you can. And then we're going to bring that butt back up. And hinge back to standing. I'm going to go 5. Hinge. Squat. Make sure your knees are not touching. And 3 more. Hinge. Squat with the knees out. Last one, hinge and squat and bring it up to standing. Okay, let's bring that kettlebell in. We're gonna do some prep work first. If you want to have a sip of water, because I do. Also, let's turn my fan on. That's smart. So let's get our kettlebell. It does not need to be heavy. We're just gonna be learning some of the skills for our first flow and warming up our shoulders and our body in the meantime. Our first move is going to be in around the world. So you are the world in this scenario, and the kettlebell is going around you. We're gonna have a kind of shoulder width stance. Feet nice and straight, engaged core, knees are soft. We're gonna be passing that kettlebell front, around, and back. And that is the around the world. Now we wanna make sure we have enough space between our legs here, because when we switch directions, it's gonna go between the legs to switch. So I'm going around and around, I go between the legs, and when I come out from between the legs, I'm pushing it back in the direction it came. So again, I'll show you another switch, 2 and 3, middle, and go back. My tip for not throwing your kettlebell off to the side because you dropped it is to make sure before you hand off that kettlebell, before you let go, make sure both your hands, you're at least touching, you're feeling your hand on the other hand. Like I make sure my thumbs touch or my pointer fingers touch. That way I know that I've made contact with the kettlebell for sure with my other hand. I tend to run into trouble if I just start trying to blindly pass without feeling. So for our around the world, we're gonna go around 3 times. The third time is when we're gonna come in, bring it to the middle, and switch directions. That way, when we're switching off 3s, we get to make sure we're switching alternating hands. So we're not always switching on the same side if we did an even number. So I'll start going around, pass for 1, 2. This third pass, I'm gonna come around between the legs, switch directions, and that's 1, 2, 3, and again, switch. Join in with your around the world, 3, in, and switch, and let's get a good feel, 3, and switch. Keep going, 1, 2, 3, and we're gonna switch. That's 1, 2, 3, and switch. 1, and 2, and 3, and switch. And 1, 2, and 3, and switch. One more, 2, 3, and switch. And then for our last 1, 2, 3, bring it down to the ground between the legs, slightly in front. And that is our around the world. Now that is a low switch. So that kettlebell's going around you, we're switching in the middle, pushing it out. We're also gonna be using a different kind of switch. We'll learn that right before we do our intermediate flow. So let's do another round of our around the world, another sip of water, have our break, and then we'll do around the world, prepping those shoulders, getting our hands ready to grab. So to start out this around the world, you can start from standing and just start passing and build momentum from there. You also have the option of having the kettlebell slightly in front of you, setting up almost like a deadlift. You're gonna pull it into your hips and then start going around. So you're creating that momentum from the get-go. So same to finish, into the middle and out to the front. And then to start from the front, pull it in, little kettlebell swing, and we'll go into our around the world. So let's begin in 3, 2, pull it in and out as we stand up. That's 2 and 3, bring it in the middle and switch for 1, 2, 3, middle, switch. 1, 2, 3, middle, and switch. 2, 3, and switch. 1, 2, 3, and switch. 1, 2, and 3, and switch. Last 1, 2, 3, and down in front. Excellent. So 2 more moves to prepare for our first flow. So we'll put everything together. Our next one is going to be a goblet squat with a swing. So we're going to learn 2 moves here. One is going to be a squat. You're probably already familiar, but we're going to learn how to put a swing into it and add that to our kettlebell flow. Did I say halo? Squat and halo. Halo squat with our swing. So what's involved here, in order to get our goblet squat here and our halo around the head, both ways, right? But then we need to swing. So we're gonna let go with one hand between the legs for our swing, switch hands up at the top, and then second swing, bring it up, catch it. And then we're set up for another, you can adjust your grip, squat, halo, both ways. And then we're gonna let go, swing, switch, swing, stop. Squat, halo, both ways. Then let go one hand, swing, switch, swing, catch. All right, let's do a series of 10 of our squats here, adding in those two little moves, which make it just a little flowy. And then we're gonna put it all together into our first flow. Probably the best place to stand. Okay, so 10 squats, which also means we're gonna do halos for each squat. And we're also gonna do swings for each squat. Let's start with getting our kettlebell up into goblet position. Starting it within the front, we can just do a little swing and catch. From there, adjust the grip. Let's go for our squat. And then we're gonna halo to the left and to the right. Let go one hand, swing, switch, swing, and catch. Goblet squat again. That's 2. Halo, halo. Let go, swing, switch, swing, and catch. Squat, that's 3. Halo, and halo. Oop, and swing, switch, swing, catch, and squat. There we go. Ooh, messing my order. Halo, and halo. And let go, swing, switch, swing, catch. Squat, halfway, and halo. And swing, swing, switch, and catch. Squat, halo. Swing, switch, swing, catch. Here's 7. Halo, and halo. Swing, switch, swing, catch. Squat, and halo. 2 more. Swing, switch, swing, and halo, and halo. Whoop. Swing, switch, swing, catch. This is 9. Halo, and halo. Swing, switch, swing, switch to catch. Squat, and halo, and halo. And we're gonna bring it down, a swing, and out. Excellent. Okay, so now we know how to go from our swing into our halo, have our goblet squat and our halo work together, right? This is our foundation. So we're gonna start off, same thing, goblet squat. We're gonna do our halo both ways. Sorry, we just did that. We're going, reading on my small text. So we got goblet squat. We're gonna do our swing after our squat for this second one. Then from the swing, our second swing, remember how we pulled it in into our swing. So after our squat, we got swing, switch, swing, and around the world for 1, 2, 3. We're gonna switch and around for 1, 2, and then on this third one, we're gonna go in to our stop. And then from there, we have our halo. Halo, halo. We go back to the top, squat, swing, switch, swing around the world for 1, 2, 3, bring it to switch for 1, 2, 3. Now up high, catch. We're gonna go halo and halo. All right, that takes us through our whole flow. I know it's complex, but we just went through all the pieces, so they're in there, right? Now we're gonna put them together, and don't worry, for our first couple flows, I'll be calling it out. I go nice and slow, and I'll call out every move so you can kind of get the feel for it. But then the last flow that we do, we're gonna do 3 rounds. The last one that we do, I'm not gonna call it out, we're just gonna flow. I'll call out 1 move each time for 1 time, and then we're just gonna flow, all right? And I absolutely, if this class today is your first time taking kettlebell flow and learning a kettlebell flow, try it again, keep at it, because you really gotta develop the muscle memory. I said it's like dancing. Have you ever perfected a dance on the first try? From a TikTok dance to a waltz, right? Takes a little bit of practice. So this is just like anything else. Treat it like that. I've been doing this for 4 years, 5 years. So, you know, in 5 years, you can be super duper flowy. But for now, right, we're learning. So here's my timer. We're gonna do 1 minute, and I'm gonna call out for the whole set. We're gonna start with the kettlebell on the ground. We're gonna pull it in, swing it up, and start with our goblet squat. So right into that first high catch squat, okay? Here we go, in 3, 2, pull it in, high stop, and goblet squat. Now we're gonna let go. Swing, switch, swing, and go into your around the world for 1, 2, 3, and switch direction. 1, 2, 3. Now up high, stop, and halo. Each direction, and squat. Here we go, let go. Swing, switch, swing, into around the world. 2, 3, middle, switch. 2, 3, middle, high, halo, direction, and squat. Back to swing. Switch, swing, out, and swing. Oop, and halo. Sorry, my brain stopped working, and so did the timer. Bring that kettlebell down. I was trying to say last one and the kettlebell and the timer's up, but my words got scrambled. So, how did that go? First flow, right? Pretty good, pretty good. We got the movements down, maybe, right? Might be going a little jerky at first. Now let's try to smooth out the edges, kind of give a little more cohesiveness between the moves. We're still gonna call out, but this time I will just call out the first 30 seconds. Start with that kettlebell in front. Here we go. We're gonna pull it in and up. First goblet squat, into swing, switch, swing, and around. 1, 2, 3, switch, and 1, 2, 3, bring it up high, halo, and squat. Swing, switch, swing, and around. 2, 3, bring it up high, and halo. Now try to flow on your own. And that's our timer. Go ahead and rest. Okay. How did you feel? Able to feel kind of how moves that feel like separate exercises can start to gel together, right? We got like the squat, boom, right into swing, boom. We've kind of got this constant flow where you can feel your hips working, moving the kettlebell. There's a beat to it. Okay. So one last round. This time, try to flow with your music, or just kind of don't focus on thinking right, left, right. Let's just try to move a little more intuitively on this approach. Think less, move more. So let's start from the top. We're gonna do up into our squat. Okay, let go, swing, switch, round, 2, 3, switch, 1, 2, 3, up high, halo, and just floating it. And our timer says go ahead and rest. And I think I forgot a squat in there, so if you're watching me, it happens too. Okay. How did that first flow feel? That was our beginner. So all those moves are pretty basic, and that's what I mean by beginner. The flow is certainly still complex, but all of those moves are pretty simple moves. They're easy to break down. Yeah, so with just a little bit of practice, you can really flow through this movement. So let's move on. So we talked about learning a different around the world approach. So we've been doing in the middle to switch. There's another way to switch where instead of our body resisting that rotation and changing the rotation of the kettlebell, this time we're gonna do a little twist. So instead of going into the middle when we pass, we're gonna go all the way around, twist the hips to stay with the kettlebell. When it gets over here, you're gonna use this hand to smack it and push it back and switch direction. So I'll show that, show that on the other side. So we go around 1, 2, and then the third, twist the pelvis, smack back. 1, 2, 3, twist the pelvis, smack back. So this, we're definitely using a lot more active rotation of our body rather than just resisting it, keeping our body square and changing that rotational force. We are now going with and using our whole body to create that change of direction. Really engage the core here, and also really important with those feet. To pivot, you've got to, you can't keep that foot flat. So you're gonna lift up the heel, almost like a baseball swing with a bat, or tennis, whatever, racquetball, that's your game. So we've got our around the world with rotation, just like we did before. We'll just do a few rounds to practice. If you wanna pick it up from the front like we've been doing, I just recommend. It's a lot safer and cooler looking way to start your flows. So from in front, we're gonna pull it in. We're gonna go around for 1, 2, and then all the way around, twist the hips and back. And 2, and 3. 1, and 2, and 3. And 2, and 3. Rotate. 1, and 2, and 3, and rotate. 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Do 2 more. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You can smack to the middle and forward. Okay. That is our around the world with rotational switch. We'll do one more practice, and then we have 2 more things that we're going to kind of add a little twist, progress a little bit. Give it about 15 seconds, and then we'll do another round of this around the world variation. You may have noticed with this one, you have the ability, rather than absorbing that rotational force and it kind of dissipating when you switch directions on the first switch, now we are really, you can produce quite a bit of force. So the kettlebell can move way faster, so be aware. Small animals, children, glass things at a lower level might not be safe if you're just starting out with this, because yeah, a lot more force is created because we are whipping it, which is really the human secret power. No one is better at throwing than humans. Don't forget. Okay. Starting from that kettlebell in the front, let's do our around the world with our rotational switch. We're gonna pull it in and out and around for 1, 2, and then rotate and smack it back. 1 and 2 and 3, rotate and smack it back. 2, 3, rotate and back. 2, 3, rotate and back. 2, 3, and back. Let's do 2 more. 2, 3, and 2, and 3, smack, middle, out. Excellent. Okay. Now we have 2 more things we're going to add. One is a lunge. Very simple goblet lunge. 2 is something called a halo chop. So we're going to take that halo that we did. All right. First, we have our reverse lunge, right? Simple, simple, just stepping back, right? Very simple exercise. Then our halo chop. We're gonna go around with that halo. But instead of coming back here, when I go around, I'm gonna let that kettlebell come all the way down, rotate my hips, just like I did with my around the world. Then I'm gonna whip it back up to my shoulder and halo the other way. And then I can whip it up to center to complete each side and go back to my reverse lunge. So halo around like normal, but then across the body to the hip, whip, back up, and here, and center. All right? So you've got the halo movement, and then you've got this chopping, chop, axe chop, wood chop movement thrown in between. Just like we did with our squat, we'll do 10, doing our chop, lunge, and chop, and then we're gonna put it all together back into our next level flow. And if you want to keep your flow, the basic flow will still be the same. So if you wanna do the basic moves, do the basic moves. Don't do anything you don't feel safe doing, especially if you're home alone. Cats are trouble. So let's kick this up into our goblet. We're gonna start with our reverse lunge. Step it back each side. And then we're gonna go into our halo around the head, chop, whip it up, back, around, halo, down, chop, up into goblet, stepping it back for 2, reverse lunge, and around, chop, and around, chop, and goblet, lunge, halo, chop, and halo, chop, and goblet, lunge, and halo, chop, and halo, chop, and goblet, lunge, halfway, 5 more. Halo, and halo. Goblet, lunge, halo, chop, and halo, chop, and lunge, and 3 more. Halo, chop, halo, chop, and goblet, lunge. 2 more, chop, and halo, chop, and goblet, lunge. 1 more, halo, chop, halo, chop, and goblet, lunge. Bring that kettlebell down in front. We're going to take a rest. We're going to talk about our next flow. And then we're going to do it just like we did with our other flow, going through 3 rounds. Thank you to everyone for taking this class, by the way. It is always a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoy working out with me, because you're really getting a lot of me in this for sure. So it's a lot of fun to be able to share this with you. I'm happy that other people enjoy working out like I do. I just want everybody to find doing something that they like to do and that feels a little playful. Play is the opposite of depression. We all need to play. It's just an animal thing to do, and we are animals. Okay, I used up my rest time. Let's talk about how we're gonna put everything together into our flow. So we have, just like we did before, we're gonna start with, we had goblet squat first. We're gonna do our goblet lunge each side. From there, we're gonna take our goblet down, swing, switch, swing into or around the world. And this time, rotate, whoop, rotate, switch. Then we're gonna bring it in, up, and now we're gonna go halo, chop, halo, chop. And then, I don't know why I'm doing sound effects, and then goblet, lunge again. So I'll take you through now with the kettlebell. So I'm gonna start off, goblet lunge each side. Boom, and boom. Take a little bit of a wider stance. We're gonna swing, switch, swing, out to around, 2, 3, rotate to switch for 1, 2, 3, rotate in the middle, up high, halo, chop, halo, chop, and now we're back to goblet lunge. Okay, there it is, our flow. Sorry, the cat is being really curious and cute, and I'm easily distracted by animals. Okay, let's do it. So we're gonna start with our minute again. I'll talk you through our whole flow. All right, we'll take it a little slow, and we're gonna do the whole thing together, talking it out. And then we're gonna do a half talk, and then we're gonna do a flow. Here we go. Start with the kettlebell down in front, keep it up, and goblet, lunge, and lunge. Bring it down, swing, switch, swing, and around for 1, 2, 3, rotate, pass back, 2, 3, rotate to the middle, and up. Now it's halo, chop, and halo, chop, and back to goblet, lunge. There we go, bring it down. Swing, switch, swing, and around for 1, 2, 3, switch, 1, 2, 3, switch to the middle, to our halo. We're gonna chop, and halo, chop, and perfect timing. Bring that kettlebell down, and we're gonna rest. Okay, so like I said before, and I almost did it myself, you are welcome to regress any of these moves. If you would rather just halo instead of halo chop, if you would rather switch in the middle rather than outside, or if you'd rather squat than lunge, right? Your degree of how hard you want to take this flow, you just have different options, and how much you want to rotate. First flow, we're resisting our rotation. Second flow, we're creating a lot of our rotation. So very different mechanical movements going on, even though the flow itself, the structure is the same. Okay, it's time for the second flow. So this time, I'm just gonna call it out first 30 seconds, and then I want you to try and just flow through it. And if you mess up, don't stop, just keep going. It's like your own dance, right? We're gonna keep talking about dance metaphor, but you can just make it part of that dance, right? And just keep going. But if you stop, you're really gonna put a halt to the flow. So just keep going, make a little mental note. Not that, keep going. And that is some of the best ways to learn. Make mistakes, make note, and move on. Keep learning, don't dwell on bad things. You can dwell on the good. All right, enough talking. We've had 3 times the rest. Let's go for our minute. We're gonna pull it in, goblet, lunge to begin. Each side, bring it down, swing, switch, and let's go around for 1, 2, 3, switch. 1, 2, 3, switch. We're gonna bring it middle to high. Now we're gonna go halo chop and halo chop. Back to goblet, lunge, and you are on your own. Let's just flow. See, I made a little mistake. I just keep moving. And bring that kettlebell down to rest. Okay. We got one more time. I'm just gonna call it one move for each time. And then we're just gonna do a big long flow. A minute of movement. And maybe you've noticed by now, right? A minute of moving weights goes by fast. This is great for interval training. You get your heart rate up real high. You're moving in all kinds of planes. You take your rest, and we've been doing 1 minute on, 30 seconds of rest. So that's a 1 to 0.5 work-rest ratio. That is some good conditioning. Okay? Enough coach talk. Let's do our last round. Kettlebell in front. Let's pull it in and goblet, lunge. Into swing, switch, and around the world. 2, 3, rotate and back. 2, 3, rotate, center, halo, chop. Let's flow. All you, baby. Ooh, I substituted. I added an extra squat and back to it. 2, 3, switch. That's having a dream. Finish up your last move and rest. Rested that kettlebell very suddenly. Okay, y'all. Nice work. And if you feel like that didn't feel flowy at all, don't worry. Keep practicing. Doesn't happen on the first time. So walk your feet out nice and wide, something relaxed. Take a couple hip circles, open those hips up. They've done a lot of rotating today, a lot of twisting. And then we can take a big breath in, big stretch, and then dive down like you're diving into the pool. And you can keep those legs straight. Relax the body. Let those hamstrings on the back of the leg stretch out. We're going to take our hands and gently walk over to one side. Try to get your chest to the knee. And reach that inside arm across onto your leg, laying it down there. And we're going to take that outside arm and open it up to the ceiling. And we're going to reach that arm down and forward. You can take that back arm and reach it back. Nice stretch. And exhale. Relax back down. Chest to the knee. Walk those hands over. Just to your other knee now. Nice deep breath. You can reach that arm through and open up that top arm. Nice deep breath and exhale. Reach forward and stretch your arms apart. Relax down. Chest back to the knee. Walk yourself back to center. Planting your hands. We're going to drop the butt and look up. We're going to push those knees out using our elbows. You can use one at a time if you want to stay nice and stable. Hands back down. Lift those hips and roll up. Starting with the butt, low back, mid back, shoulders. Creep those feet back together. What a nice shake out. Give yourself a little hug. Thank yourself for trying flow today. Or doing another flow with me. Thank you for doing another flow with me. And thank you for taking care of yourself today. Working out, exercising, movement. It is self-care and we need it to live. As always, I will keep spieling on. So I love you and I will see you next time. Thank you for donating to the Lawyers Guild if you do. If you did purchase the September classes, and thank you for my continued members. I always appreciate your loyalty and continued support, even though I have moved. So